Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. This is Brian Boyle, and welcome to episode 61 of The Mesh Tongue. Today's Thursday. Hope all are well, and hopefully that you've got a big day planned ahead of you. If you have got your run in this morning, fantastic. If you're getting in later today, then get out after it. The daylight hours are being extended. We got 2 weeks till daylight savings time ends. For those of us that are celebrating daylight savings time, for those of you that don't, well, you got 2 more weeks of I don't know, something that we can celebrate. But here's the deal: do you drink caffeine? Well, as I'm sitting here myself and I'm consuming my first cup of coffee, I can remember a time when I did not drink caffeine, and I can remember growing up, my parents didn't let me have caffeine, hyperactive enough without the caffeine. No need to go and give me any more stimulants to get me all crazy and whatnot. I can remember a friend of mine taking some no-dos before an exam. And, well, she didn't take just one packet of no-dos. She took the entire box. She was going to pull an all-nighter. We literally found her shaking like this, going, "Can you guys help me?" outside of the dorm, and just an absolute mess. Absolute mess. Even my wife, when my wife and I met, I took her to Starbucks because I liked the hot chocolate, but was not drinking mega doses of coffee or anything like that. So small amounts of caffeine, but very, very, very little. Now I drink coffee and I drink other forms of caffeine. I guess that comes with being older and having 3 boys that you need to keep up with. But how about you? Do you drink coffee? Do you drink caffeine? How do you get your caffeine? So, caffeine can be a phenomenal ergogenic, boy, it's early, ergogenic aid in your running. But do you know how to take your caffeine? Do you know why it works? Do you know how it works? And that's the subject of episode 61 in Mesh Tongue. So, years ago, for about 20 years, the Olympics had banned caffeine because of its stimulant and its performance-enhancing aid. It is a fantastic stimulant, but there's some reasons that you would take it, and there's some reasons that you may not want to take it, and then you've got to also time it. All right, NCAA prohibits more than about 500 milligrams in the system at any one time, so that would be about maybe 5 to 8 cups of coffee, depending on how big they are. When you're looking at at the amount of caffeine, and that's about 3 to 4 hours before competition. So if you drank 5 to 8 cups of coffee, and I couldn't even imagine. Now again, you could be getting it in other forms. So if that's the case, then you don't have to worry about the upset stomach issue from drinking 5 to 8 cups of coffee. But that's what the NCAA is at right now. That may change future, but Olympics no longer have that ban, so you can consume as much as you want. You can do whatever. So there are some implications depending on what level you're competing at. You have to be aware of potential testing, and will you get tested? And are there going to be issues? Now, what we've seen is there's some fantastic studies on caffeine and how it helps. It usually has to be consumed. It used to be thought that you had to consume it 3 to 4 hours beforehand in order to get the effect. Now we're seeing that you can consume it as quickly as between an hour and a half hour before your event. So if you've got a race or if you're going out for a really long run, and you may want to have the effect can last up to 3 to 4 hours after consumption. Also depends on a number of different variables like your hydration level and such. But in general, if you take your caffeine about an hour to a half hour before your activity, this is considered best right now. Some people have even said, hey, you know what, you want to get a really good boost in the afternoon and you're not looking for an activity, or you're going to go for a run, you can take have a cup of coffee or something that some sort of source of caffeine. Take a nap immediately after. So go immediately after, take a nap, okay? And when you wake up, you'll have this extra nitro oxide tank in your in your rocket fuel for you, so that you wake up and you just you hit the ground running. So that's another quick tip. But reality is that if you're consuming your coffee in the morning before your runs and your stomach tolerates it, I'm just say this is going to be one of those things that you're going to have to try. If you haven't tried it, you're going to have to try. I know a lot of you do drink your morning coffee and then head out. And obviously your stomach has tolerated that. If you're not used to consuming caffeine before exercise, you probably want to test that out. You may have some stomach issues, some upset stomach issues. It is a diuretic. So you're going to need to consume more water to substitute the water you're pushing out from the kidneys. You're also probably going to have to find a restroom more often. So those porta-johns or the bushes before big races, those lines are long enough already. If you think you need to go twice or three times before your event, good luck. It doesn't usually happen, unless, like I said, you're finding the bushes. That's one of those things that you want to try and avoid. So maybe you're getting your caffeine 2 to 3 hours in advance. Pushing the water out and staying hydrated is going to be key. But so how much do you need? Well, that's going to be individualized. How much are you drinking? Okay, if you are the 5, 6, 7 cup a day person, or you're getting caffeine from other sources, and you're thinking like 500 milligrams or more a day, chances are you're not going to see as big a benefit in the performance enhancing side of taking caffeine before your event or before your big race, or before your your long run. So what can you do? All right, so you can actually, if you might go through some withdrawal, and maybe your family won't be happy with you, maybe your friends won't be happy with you. You will have a headache. You'll have all sorts of different things. Some fatigue. Maybe blood pressure goes up a little bit. You may have your heart rate may be all goofy as you're coming through this withdrawal, but you can reduce your caffeine, and it's generally thought that it takes about 4 days to clear your system. Okay, so if you're trying to reduce caffeine, it takes about 4 days to clear your system. So if you were looking to use caffeine as a powerful stimulant, you may flush your system 4 to 7 days before an event. You take it before your event, or if you've got something that you're training for. Long run, that may be the key to getting the performance enhancement from the caffeine, is that you go washout period and then you come back to it day of. That's certainly something that you could try. I would encourage you to do this multiple times throughout your training cycle. That way you know how it feels. Again, I never encourage you to try something race day. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Okay, so 6 weeks out, 8 weeks out, let the family go crazy with you, let your friends go crazy with you as you're coming off your caffeine, if you're consuming bunches of it. Well, feel how it is, okay, to be off of it, all right, because it's gonna affect things. Then come back to it, see what that does on a training run, all right. If it feels pretty decent, you go, okay, got this. Try it again, okay. I would encourage you to try it again, because you're gonna want to know how it reacts. How is it gonna react with your stomach? What's your meal gonna be like? Okay, there's a lot of different things. If you're taking a Stinger gel, or you're taking something that the Cliff gel shots that have the caffeine, and you're looking for the effect during a race, and you haven't come off of a washout period, and you consume lots of caffeine already, chances are you're just throwing that away. It may even make you more dehydrated, because it is going to push diuretic while not giving you as much of a performance enhancing boost. So these are the sorts of things you got to be aware of. I would recommend, again, as anything, train how you're going to race. You're going to prepare for that. You want to make sure that you've got these things down. It can be very, very powerful, and then as much as an 18% boost in endurance, like training to fatigue, and almost a 25% increase in intensity, exercise intensity. So that's pretty amazing stuff just from consuming something there's lots of other things that we can talk about, but caffeine I know is a big one. Lots of questions about it. So if you are consuming lots and you want to come off, I would say washout period 4 to 7 days. Even as much as 100 milligrams or about 1 cup of coffee, if you're not used to it, can be a significant amount. Don't go taking this like massive 300 milligram suppository or 3,000 milligram mega dose of coffee or whatever. Okay, if you're already used to it. If you're not, you're going to be crazy. Yes, if you see somebody kind of tweaking, they may not be the dope fiend. It may be the caffeine, especially if they're out on a bike and they're geared up, or you see them at a race and you see them kind of twitching, because it's been well known that stimulants like caffeine and cyclists have also had their issues. So runners aren't immune to this either. That's it for today. Brian Boyle. Keep those questions, keep those comments coming in. Brian, BRIAN at company, the number 5k.com. Hey, I try and get those questions answered as quickly as possible. We'll get you a video out if it's something specific to you. I'll make a video for one of these episodes if it's something that I think lots and lots of people will have benefit from. But hey, go out after it. Today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. It's almost here. So episode 61, The Mesh Tongue. Check out runpainless.com. And also, don't forget, share this with your friends, your family, your training partners. But whatever you do, don't go hurting yourself to come back. I'll see you again tomorrow.